Good morning. My name is Ron Morris. This is Moving Forward TV, your local real estate and mortgage update.
And I'm Delynn Gaston. Thanks for joining us today. We thought today's show we would do an FAQ show so that you can learn all of the email questions that we get each and every week about various changes that are going on in the industry.
Okay, the first question we're going to take is, and it's probably the most common question, and it will continue to be for quite some time with our economic situation that we're going through right now. Question is, how long after a bankruptcy, foreclosure, or short sale can I apply for a mortgage? Let's handle bankruptcies first.
Three separate
bankruptcy,
things.
Exactly. Bankruptcy with FHA and VA is 2 years. Basically, 2 years after that bankruptcy, you can apply for an FHA or VA loan. Fannie Mae is going to make you wait 4 years. Now, let's go into foreclosures. Foreclosure with a FHA loan is going to be, have 3 years in your mind. There's some situations with extenuating circumstances, it can be less than that. Have 3 years in your mind, basically. On a Fannie Mae loan, it's going to be anywhere, and this gets real confusing, anywhere from 3 to 7 years.
That narrows it right down.
So depending on, again, extenuating circumstances and loan to value. Now let's just cover extenuating circumstances real quick. What is an extenuating circumstance? Death of a primary wage earner, serious illness, or unemployment. What is not an extenuating circumstance is divorce. So if you went through that, it negatively affects your credit, created foreclosure, bankruptcy, something like that. That's not an extenuating circumstance. Okay, let's move into the short sale. Short sale with FHA, again, have 3 years in your mind. There are circumstances you can go less than that, but have 3 years in your mind. VA pretty much tailors FHA, so about 3 years for VA as well. Now, Fannie Mae, again, we're going to narrow that right on down, and that's going to be 2 to 7 years, again, depending on extenuating circumstances, and loan to value comes into that too.
So this is not cut and dry. This is not a simple, here's the answer. This definitely
absolutely
takes a lot into consideration.
Right. Calls,
Keep that
if you have
in
any
mind.
questions on that, let us know, because again, as you can see, it can be very tricky with that.
Okay, question number 2. What are the guidelines for a flipped house?
Flipping houses?
Flipping houses.
Sorry.
A flipped house. Basically, the guidelines are this. FHA, let's start with FHA, because FHA and Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are different. FHA's guidelines, they have what they call the 90-day rule. If, basically, they do not want you to have the house sold or transferred during the first 90 days that someone owns it.
You can't even go under contract for 90 days if I...
Can't even go under contract. Now, before we get emails saying, yes, you can, we do know that you can. There is a temporary moratorium that FHA has on that if you do choose to resell a house within the 90-day period, that's fine. Just be prepared. There's a whole lot of more hurdles and things that you're going to have to go through.
Because it's not hard enough anyway.
It's, you know? Anyway, there's going to be a lot more hurdles that you have to jump through and over and stuff like that in order to get it done. So the basic rule is if it's over 90 days, we're cool on FHA.
Right.
Under 90 days, there's a whole bunch of stuff we have to go through. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are pretty much the same. They have no guidelines as far as that. There is no 90-day rule with them. However, just keep in mind, it is totally underwriter discretion. Underwriter call what they want to do, and trust me, they're going to want to do something. So, we've had the situation. So, if you are selling a house and flipping it, and theirs is kind of less than 12 months. If it's under 12 months, that's where they're going to look at it a lot closer. They may require a second appraisal. They may require receipts showing from the seller what improvements he's done to the home, dollar for dollar receipts, everything from Home Depot.
Because they want to justify that increase.
Absolutely, especially if it's a large increase, and they consider large increase more than 20%. So just keep that in mind.
For more information on flipping houses, see episode 22, and the archive page will give you a lot more in-depth information about house flipping. Now, next question we get is, can I buy a fixer-upper? And the short answer is yes. If it's in need of some repairs, that's where the 2 or 3K loan comes into play, which is the FHA rehab loan. In a nutshell, if it's $35,000 or less in repairs, they have one that's called the Streamline. And we've both done those. They're relatively a little complicated, but they're not that bad at all. And I think there's a big need for that these days with all the short sales and foreclosures. People have kind of trashed the homes. There's a need for that 2 or 3K.
Okay, for more information on the 203K program, see episode number 12. We did a whole show on that, so that'll be great.
Depth.
Okay, on to question number 4. I am in the market to buy a house and I want to get a great deal on it.
Doesn't everyone?
What do you recommend? One of our favorite questions. Okay, the first thing we recommend is A, get pre-qualified by a qualified mortgage person because that's key. Number 2, get a really good realtor to help show you some of the houses and get you through. Now, here's what I like to explain about the deals that are out there. It's really primarily the sellers that are out there, and I tell all my customers this. There are 3 types of sellers that are out there. Seller number 1 is Mr. or Mrs. Seller. Regular old Mr. or Mrs. Seller. They're not under any pressure. I know, there's not, unfortunately. They're not under any pressure to sell the house. They're not upside down. It's not a short sale, and they're not in foreclosure. That's a great deal because they are motivated to sell because they know you have a lot of choices. Number 2 is your bank-owned property. Already bank-owned, already foreclosed on. The bank owns it, already been through the process. Those are a good deal. They're all good deals, quite frankly. Those are a good deal as well. Just bear in mind that the bank's taken kind of a big loss on it already, so they're going to want to try and get top dollar for it, the best that they can anyway. Number 3 type of seller out there is your short sale. Now,
I hear those are really quick too.
On the short sale, we all know those take forever. So you need to be ready to have grandchildren before you can take that under contract. No, really, they just take a lot of time. So definitely, you don't want to do these if your lease is almost up and you're trying to get into something pretty quickly because they do take more time.
Have patience.
Have patience with those. They're more timely, and again, the bank is about to take a really big hit on those. So although they're a good deal, they're probably not the best deal out there just because they're all good deals out there. And this one's going to take a little bit longer, and they're going to try and get back every penny that they can on that house. Just keep that in mind.
Okay, our 5th and last question is, I'm considering using a reverse mortgage actually for my father, but I've heard some bad press about him. What's your opinion? And let me kind of backtrack on that. Reverse mortgages have had a lot of bad press a number of years ago, and maybe even moving forward. I think that's kind of that stigma is sticking with it. And here's where that really stemmed from. A number of years ago, there were a lot of financial planners that were licensed to do reverse mortgages. So they had mom and pop over there with a free and clear home worth, say, $200,000, $300,000, and they would convince the client to do a reverse mortgage. Let's get all your equity out, give it to me as the financial planner, then I'd put them in a bad investment, lose the money. So everybody thought, well, that's a reverse mortgage. There's a problem with a reverse mortgage. No, there's not a problem with a reverse mortgage. There was a bad financial planner involved in that. Right. Now, Congress has stepped in when that really exploded. They've stepped in and said, if you are a financial planner, you can no longer be licensed to do mortgages. So that problem is gone. It no longer exists. That's where a lot of the bad press came from. And it wasn't that the reverse mortgage was a bad product. There were just some people pushing it for their own reasons, not for the benefit of the homeowner. So nothing wrong with a reverse mortgage if it's used properly.
For more information on reverse mortgages, you can see episode number 34 in our archives. That's our show this week. Hopefully you got something out of our FAQs, learned something new this week. And remember, we have a lot of archive shows, tons of them actually. So feel free to click on those and get more information on any of this stuff.
And if you have any questions about what we talked about today or anything pertaining to financing, call us, email us. That's why we do the show. We're trying to help your clients get into those homes out there. So please keep us in mind and reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.
And visit our sponsors as well. They are who we turn to when we have questions, and they would love to hear from you. So feel free to just pick up the phone and call them as well.
They're very approachable.
Absolutely. If you are watching our show for the first time, you can subscribe over here for free. And also please feel free to share the show. Pass this on. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn,
all those social networking media.
Right. We're on those. Please share those as well. That's our show this week. We are Today and Every Day.
Moving forward, we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I think honesty's always the best policy.
You believe that?
No, I was lying.